There is a lot of pressure because, you know, you've got a lot of supporters and people that come to watch you, and everyone loves a winner. If I'd have made the Olympics, would I have still had the fire from achieving one of my goals? You know, I've got other goals now, and that's to eventually win a world title in the pro game. I've never really had a reason why. The reason has always been to do it for myself, whereas now I've got a reason. From a young age, I think for most kids it's either football or rugby. For me it was always boxing because my dad was a boxing coach at the time, loved boxing. My brother, he was always a boxer growing up and stuff as a kid. He's 3 years older than me, is Tom, and my uncle was a coach. So really my family just massively into boxing, and then at about the age of 9, my brother stopped boxing and my dad would constantly pester me, "You coming to the gym, you coming to the gym?" I was never that bothered. One day he said it and I went, "Alright then, I'll come," just to sort of shut him up. And I went, enjoyed it. I started constantly going down. On my first fight at 11. And then a year later, I was representing England as a schoolboy. I think I had about 13, 14 fights unbeaten. And I lost my first fight against Ireland by a point. I never really took it that serious, you know, like as in training wise and stuff. And I think from that point, I remember crying for days, weeks, and I just never wanted to feel that feeling again. And then boom, flash, and I'm here now, and it just feels like it's all just been a blur. It's just mad. Around the age of 15, you know, when everyone started to be a little bit more, you know, going drinking and doing this, I was never really that bothered. And just as I left school, I had the opportunity to go to Bradford College, which was a boxing / sports course, and I was able to train there with a guy called Kevin Smith, who was an international coach at the time. And so I went there and I just fell in love with the sport and all the science behind it, and I was obsessed. You know, I'd be up all night studying. I'd wake up at 4 AM to go running. Like I just got to a point where I was literally obsessed, and probably unhealthily at times. You know, I didn't go out and see my friends, and I missed out on a lot growing up. But I'm grateful for that, and I'm here today. Yeah. I didn't really know much about the Olympics when I was a kid, but then when I got to, like you say, about 15, 16, when I started taking it really serious, you start to learn about international boxing, and I got on the Great Britain squad at the age of 17, and then obviously the ultimate goal was then the Olympics, and they were talking about me for 2012, and I think by the time that would have come round, I'd have been about 18, and they're all saying, yeah, it's probably a bit too soon. And so then 2016, it was like, right, he's a cert. So that was the goal. Unfortunately, that didn't happen for me, and it was heartbreak. You know, I was absolutely gutted. I had about 6 months off boxing. You know, just living like a normal kid would do, and just catching up with all my friends and stuff. And then, you know, the love came back, and I thought, you know, the next opportunity for would be to have a few more amateur fights. You know, pick back up where I left off, and then turn professional.
Now, obviously, with the benefit of hindsight, how do you look back on not making the Olympics, and what kind of impact it had on your career?
Maybe a blessing in disguise, really, because I've still got that fire to achieve. You know, if I'd have made the Olympics, would I have still had the fire from achieving one of my goals? You know, I've got other goals now, and that's to eventually win a world title in the pro game. So I've still got that fire. I've still got that sort of that push, you know, to get to where I want to be. And I've turned pro, and I've done it the hard way, really. You know, I've started up on my dad's shows. I had the opportunity to sign with a few promoters when I did turn over, but you know, I've done it on the small hall shows. I'm still fighting on some of the small hall shows now, and I'm 16-0. A lot of these guys, they fight on the big stage straight away, and they're almost had it handed. But I've come through, won the English title, and I'm on to bigger and better things now.
What did turning pro mean to you?
It meant a lot, My dad probably regrets not turning pro when he was 17 years old and he sort of packed in boxing as a fighter. So it was good, It's funny because I've always been, even as an amateur, I was a pro, I was constant. I trained just as hard then as what I do now, but people don't say, because it's called amateur boxing, it's quite the wrong word for it really, because it's far from amateur. But it's nice to be a professional now and actually building up the wins and titles is what you want as a pro, and that's the sort of level I'm at now.
So with amateurs at the moment who are thinking about whether to turn pro now, are there any sort of mistakes or things you did as an amateur that if you could turn back the clock you wouldn't have done that could perhaps be good advice for them?
Maybe not put so much pressure on yourself. You're only doing 3 rounds. It's a fast pace. If you all that nerves and tension over 3 rounds, you need to get in and get it right straight away. There's no point having 3 rounds to warm up, and then if it's not a 12-round fight, you need to be in fast, sharp, and get out. But just enjoy it. That's the main thing. And if you're enjoying it, and happy fighter is a dangerous fighter, they always say, and that's probably what I'd say. There is a lot of pressure because you've got a lot of supporters and people that come to watch you, and everyone loves a winner. Everyone always loves a winner. I've seen myself, fighters who I've been good friends with in the past, and my dad's dad as a pro, when they're winning, everyone's there for them, and I've seen them in the changing rooms afterwards where there's not one phone call once they have been beat or whatever, and it's a brutal sport. It really is a brutal sport, but it comes part and parcel with the game, and I know who is there for me, and I'm blessed to have the support I do from such a great city like Leeds. For me, I've got a lot of close fans who I have a good personal relationship with, but I see on Twitter and Facebook and stuff all the time, someone will be saying, oh, this guy's this, is that, who they don't know. For example, someone like Anthony Joshua, and they get beat and they're slagging him off the next day, and it's just, it's awful to see. So to think if someone that knew you personally would say that, then it'd be a shame. But I'm lucky to know a lot of my people. Like I say, I'm from Leeds, we're all quite close-knit, and I'm lucky to have the support I do.
So looking at your career so far, what would you say the biggest turning points have been?
Probably the not making the Olympics was the biggest one for sure. I was a Sky Scholar growing up as an amateur from the age of about 18 to when I didn't make the Olympics, and there was a lot of pressure on me, to make the Olympics. I was getting sponsored, and I didn't. And I felt like I was always so nervous, and I felt like I had to. If I took a day off training, my mind would eat at me, and it wasn't healthy. Whereas I didn't make the Olympics, and I sort of realised, I'm doing this because I love it. It's not the end of the world if you don't win a fight or you don't make something. At the end of the day, it's boxing, and there's more to life. I've got a little girl now, a little baby girl, Sienna. Which is another massive turning point. Like, I've realised there's a lot more to life than boxing, but it's all I know, so this is me, man. When you fight, it's all a bit of a blur. Like, you can watch a 10-round fight or a 12-round fight and it feels like it's going on forever. When you're in there, it's over in a flash. But it's just all about digging deep and just thinking, how bad do you really want it? And I want it bad, I really do want it bad. And like I say, I've got a baby now, and I'm not just doing it for me. I've never really had a reason why. The reason has always been to do it for myself, whereas now I've got a reason. I've got a family to support, and I suppose that is what will get me through the trenches now, for sure. And some days I really don't want to. There's times I've sat in the car before a session, I'm like, I don't want to go in there, but it's got to be done, and I feel like because I've instilled that into myself from such a young age, it's just become natural, and you've got to give yourself a little slap sometimes. And if I'm not doing it, my dad's doing it in the corner. So it's like I said, this is all I know, and I've brought myself up to be just dedicated, to the sport. When the whole COVID and everything started, I wasn't fighting. I was training every day. I was thinking, what can I do? You know, I never usually have time to think of anything other than boxing, which is funny because I managed to come across just boxing. I thought, you know, what can I do with my name, JB? And then there's just boxing. What does just boxing mean to me? And boxing means everything. Just boxing is everything I believe in. For boxers or people that are involved in boxing, they know how important it is to their life, you know, whether you're just the person off the street who comes and does 1 or 2 sessions a week and it makes them feel so much better, or you're someone like myself who boxes every day for a living. You realise how important it is, and I just hope that they can share that feeling with me, as to think, you know, it's just boxing, but it's so much to me. I want it to be for everyone, you know what I mean? And boxing has changed so many lives, you know, along the way, for whether, like you say, just mental health, or like it's just boxing, but it's so much more than that. Like the business is so much more, because boxing is special, man.
Okay, and how important do you think it is for fighters to have not just businesses outside of boxing, but interests, and you have other things on the go?
I think it is very important because, like I said, it can be unhealthily. You can be unhealthily obsessed with the game. For me, I rarely get 10 minutes where I'm not thinking about it. So to have something that just distracts you a little bit is important, because you've got to take your mind off it to be able to focus on it when you need to. You know, you can get fed up with it. I like to have a day a week, which is a Sunday for me, which I always have off. I do no training, and I'm ready to go again on Monday then, because it is important to just take a little breather.
Where would you be without boxing?
Oh God, I do not know, honestly. I'm blessed that boxing has found me. You know, if boxing ended tomorrow, it's been good to me, and I'm grateful for it. And I'm so thankful to my dad for pestering me to come to the gym with him, because I wasn't the most talented when I first started out, but I grafted, and like I say, I fell in love with the sport. And it's something that no matter how good you are at it, if you're not putting the work in, the person who is will beat you, even if he's 50% as good as you are. Like, it's one of those sports where you've got to give it everything.
And what do you credit your success to then as a pro? Because as you're a kid, you might not be talented, but you put the work in.
Yeah.
Why are you successful now? Why do you win?
Consistency. Like, from 9 years old, I've been obsessed, you know. I've missed out on so much growing up. Like, my friends are going on a stag do tomorrow. One of my best friends who I grew up with, and I can't go, you know. There's so much I've missed out, and now my partner misses out on a lot of stuff. And like I say, you know, I'm grateful that I have committed to it, and if it all ended tomorrow, it's been good to me, but I've got a long way to go, and I want to reach the pinnacle. And the new baby.
Listen.
The next goal for me is to pick up more titles in the game now. You know, I'm 16-0 as a professional, and I'm looking at more. English champion now. I want to be British, Commonwealth, European, and then eventually world. You know, there's a lot of titles out there to win now, and I just want to climb them rankings. You know, I've got a good ranking in Britain now, and yeah, it's time to start making moves, man. I've got a good team around me, so it's on me. At the end of the day, if I don't do it, it's no one else's fault but myself. I think in some ways it's a massive team sport, because without a good team behind you, you're going to struggle to make it, no matter how good you are. You need a good management, you need a good promotional team, but it is down to you. If you've got a good team, like I've got a good, you know, strength conditioning coach, a nutritionist, my trainers, we've all got a group where we all chat, but I set up that group and I instigate, you know, the conversation. If I'm not doing that, the group will die, you know what I mean? So it is down to yourself. So it's a massively individual sport, and it's a lonely sport. It's the most toughest and loneliest sport in the world, but it can be special, because when you do win and you get your hand raised, you know that you've done that.
How are you with accountability, and how have you been with it? So it may be something you've gotten better or worse at. Are you good at patting yourself on the back when you've done well, and then accepting the blame when you've not done well?
I'm pretty bad, to be honest. I'm really bad. So I'd probably say every time I've jumped out the ring, I've been upset with myself. Even when it's been good, I want to do better. And I've watched it back, the next day, and I've been like, oh, it wasn't that bad actually. But I'm so glad I'm like that, because I always want to do better. I've seen a lot of people come out and they're bragging this and bragging that. I've never been that guy, and I don't plan on being that guy, because I do always want to be better. We can always be better. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I won't stop till I get to that point where I can be happy with myself and be like, I was alright that. I have got to pat myself on the back a little bit more. The other day I had a bad spar, and I was chatting with my nutritionist and told him I had a bad spar, and he was like, just stop being so hard on yourself. He said, you've had months. He said, that's the first time in months you've turned around and said that to me. And I sort of realised, yeah, I am a bit. But I'm glad I am like that, because the only way is up.
How important is it to you to leave a legacy?
I think it is very important. I wanna do the family name proud. My granddad, who passed away, my dad's dad, who got him into boxing, he was a massive boxing fan, and he loved it, and he was my biggest fan. He didn't get to see any of my pro fights, but I run past his house every day now, and I always blow a kiss to the sky, you know what I mean? And it is. I do want to leave a legacy, and I want the Bateson name to live on in boxing, and hopefully it will.
And now the daughter's come along. Has that even made that more?
She won't be boxing, but yeah, of course, man. I want to do her proud, and I want to create a great life for her. And if I have a boy, he can have a go. But I know how hard the game is, so it'll be like, do I really want him to box? Because it's tough and you miss out on a lot. But we'll see. I should just got a little girl for now, so yeah, we're all good.